I want to show you the trade I took today on SPY, a beautiful break and retest strategy using higher time frames as well as a lower time frame entry. What's up, everybody? Josh from Red Shorts Trades here. I took a really nice trade today after doing some multi-time frame analysis and then jumping into the trade. Again, this is something I'm still continuing to learn and test out this particular strategy to continue to grow my account as we work towards being one of those millionaire traders, hopefully, fingers crossed. But I find it so fascinating how the market moves, and today is no different. So let's go ahead and jump right into what I saw and then how I took my entry and then what the ultimate outcome was and the profit targets were. All right, so here we are on the SPY chart. I'm currently on the 4-hour time frame. There's a few things that I saw. We've had this really nice bull run down here from the 54 or the 542, 43 level down here. Really nice bull run up. And it got all the way up here, creating new highs. Really awesome past couple days here. Definitely want to be on the right side of that momentum. And then yesterday, we had a really nice pullback here. We were exhausting some of the highs. Sellers were starting to step in. We saw this rejection of this 563.50 level, and then a really nice downside move. Caught a little bit of that yesterday, and obviously it reacted pretty strongly to pull us all the way back here. And then this morning, I was taking a look at what levels we ultimately wanted to trade off of to see if there were any good trades today. And here's what I saw. I saw this 4-hour on the 4-hour. And just so to be clear, you want to go to the higher time frame so you can cut out a lot of the noise. The minute you get into like the smaller time frames, there's a lot of noise. It's tough to really identify what the market structure looks like. And so going to the higher time frame is one of the cleanest ways to be able to identify market structure. So what you have down here is this is the last low, this purple line here that I have drawn out on the higher time frame. This really would have to break if we're ultimately moving ourselves into a downtrend. What you see here is this is the last true low. We have another low here, but it popped up. So these lows keep getting created. But a true downtrend, I think this is the level that we would need to hold in order for us to see a downside move. And so this level was the last low before we had this really big impulsive move up here the other day. And so this level here is really what I was taking a look at. And I drew out this purple demand zone. Let me draw it again so you can see what I'm doing here. We had this really nice impulsive move up, and I saw this order block form on the 4-hour time frame here, which the order block's ultimately going to be this kind of last down candle here before you jump into a really strong impulsive move to the upside. And so I drew out this order block here this morning, or last night actually, and then this morning I came here, and what you saw was on the 4-hour time frame, you saw this really impulsive move down into this order block, saw it slow down, momentum slowed. You saw this really nice doji candle, this indecision candle in the after hours, and then you saw this mark up on the after hours. And then on the 4-hour, you saw this really beautiful push down and push back up, creating this nice bullish hammer candle. So this told me that on the higher time frame, this was continuing to potentially be in an uptrend and continuation to retrace everything and basically bring back everything that the market gave back yesterday. And this is confirmed if you go on the 1-hour time frame, you see something very similar. You got this order block here. You got this pullback in on this candle here in the pre-market here on the 10th before we opened up, and then made this really nice move up. And this went into the demand zone or the order block, and then it pushed all the way up. We see the downside move going into the zone here, the order block here, and it's slowing down. We see a lot of pushes. These lower wicks are showing us that buyers are stepping in and they're pushing up, putting pressure against the sellers. And then we saw, again, this really nice, beautiful on the 1-hour time frame, really nice bullish hammer candle. So my bias going into the day was bullish. I wanted to see a potential break and retest of a key level. And so I jump into my 5-minute time frame, and what I marked out initially here was my pre-market highs, as I usually do. I did not mark out pre-market lows because it already had some confluence with the prior day low, which I have here on this blue, and it was also in my demand zone. So effectively the trade that I was going to be looking for was going to be ultimately a break and retest of this pre-market level here. A lesser, not as A+ setup would have been to pull down into this opening 5-minute low. I like to try and mark out the first 5-minute candle to see the high and the low, and then ultimately that could be a point of entry. If there's confluence with, and in this case there was confluence with the pre-market high, you want to kind of pick and choose which level you're going to trade off of. And in this particular instance, the pre-market high was the one that I ended up taking the trade on. Then I moved down to the 2 minute. Now I usually try and take my entries on the 1 minute, but every now and then I like to put my time frame on the 2 minute because it weeds out some of the noise, especially for the moves that go up and down with the same kind of intensity. That's what creates these doji candles, right? So you can go on the 1 minute time frame and then you see price moving down and then moving up pretty rapidly. And so on the 2 minute candle, what caught my eye was this candle here. As I was waiting for price to react, I saw us break above and I was waiting for that retest of that pre-market high. It failed. And so I waited for another one to see if we could break these highs. We did. We had a nice push up over pre-market high. We came down to the pre-market level. And then on the 2 minute candle, I saw this wonderful hammer candle form. We saw sellers push price all the way down here, did not break any of these lows. And then buyers push price back up. It's exactly the entry I want. I jump over to the 1 minute time frame and I set my profit target here. Now, true break of structure would have been down here off of this opening candle. That would have made a push to the downside. I was not interested in taking longs off of this order block. I would have wanted to wait to see if we were actually in an uptrend on the day before taking anything. So the fact that we already saw this level here create these highs here, and then we saw yet again this level here create these highs here, and then we saw higher lows being formed. We have this one down here and then this one down here, and then yet again we had this one down here. So we were seeing higher lows created, higher highs created. The market structure super important. And then we hopped in the trade. So as soon as I saw this push back up, obviously I saw the hammer candle on the 2 minute. I jumped in, had some good confidence in the trade, and you see it worked out really nice for a really beautiful 1 to 4.38 trade. I ended up taking partials at my 1 to 2 mark, which was right about here. So I try and take partials on the 1 to 2 and then I'll let the runners run. I had this profit target marked out up here at the 559.27 as this had some confluence with the prior day. So I always try and look left just to see what's going on. And we saw this basically support turned resistance on the prior day. So I had that marked out as a potential target that I wanted to keep an eye on. And so we saw this bounce here, pull down below, come back up, retest it, and then push down further. So that was a key level. That was my ultimate profit target for the day. Obviously, the trade is continuing to push up higher and higher. And so it could have held on even longer, but wanted to make sure I secured profits. So that was the trade that I took today. Again, the break and retest strategy, looking at higher time frames. I'm still figuring out and identifying the correlation between higher time frames and as it pertains to the lower time frames. So one of the things that I am uncovering is if there's formation on the higher time frames, something like this, we have this form of a bounce off of an order block or a demand zone, and we're moving into, and we're seeing some good rejection of the higher time frames before the day opens, then that's going to inform a bit of my bias on the day. Just like yesterday, what I caught on this move was informed by the higher time frame rejection, really big rejection of this move up here. So going to post more videos on that, but I hope that helps you who are trying to figure out how do we trade in this market. If you like it and it's helpful, go ahead and give the like button a nice tap and pound that subscribe button so you continue to get more content. I definitely want to continue to post these trades as I take them so that way they can continue to be helpful and I can learn right alongside you. At the end of the day, I'm trying to make profits just like the rest of you. And for me, putting this down on paper and really talking it through ultimately reinforces the strategy that I'm trying to deploy every day. Until next time, we'll talk then. Thanks.